Lorraine says, hi, Derek. First of all, thanks for the knowledge shared. It's really changed my life for the better. Question, what do you think about the idea of real estate, the idea that real estate takes your freedom away from you? You can't invest in REITs with high dividend, 5 to 9%, if you want to be in the brick and mortar market. You can buy REITs if you want to. I own 2 REITs right now. Very optimistic about their future. I'm already up significantly on them. It's been 2 of my best investments this year. There's a couple of REITs. One of them has been my biggest investment and also a fantastic return. Another one also a fantastic return. So I like REITs, and that's an easy, REIT stands for Real Estate Investment Trust, for people that might not know that term. So this is, to say it in a very generic way, it's like a stock that owns various real estate assets. Might own office space or shopping malls or storage facilities for servers or whatnot, for technical things. All right, and you're investing in the real estate that collects rents and whatnot on your behalf, and then they pays you a distribution. To be qualified as a REIT, they have to return 90% of their income. It has to be returned to shareholders. So they give that money back to the owners, of those units. So if you want to be a passive investor in that, that's fine. I own a couple right now. I also own real assets, actual property. Nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with it. But you still have to understand it. And for you to understand what a REIT is, most people wouldn't even know what that is. Not because they're dumb. It's just kind of a nuanced thing. So most people wouldn't even know what the hell that is. And then, for those that do, you can't just go buy the shit indiscriminately. It's like you still have to understand the underlying assets. You have to understand both of those things, like how do the markets function in general, and also how does real estate work, and what are the things that are going to be make the real estate or that business model, the real estate business model they have, more valuable or less valuable. You're going to have to understand both sides of that. It's very complex to really have a good grip on that, and to just go buy some random REIT ETF or something. You'd make a lot more money if you knew which ones to pick. Instead of buying an index or ETF with a bunch of bullshit in it, you make a lot more money. This is a stock picker's market, right? And anytime there's turmoil in a market, you don't want to own the whole fucking index. You want to avoid the bullshit and go pick the fucking gems that you think are going to be very, very valuable, that are underappreciated at the moment. That's where the money is. That's where the money is. And otherwise, you're just going to get an average return. If you want an average return, I don't know what the fuck you're doing here. I don't like average people. George, what are your thoughts on investing in tech startup companies? You have to have a lot of subject matter expertise. Let me say it this way. I have friends. They run an investment firm, an early stage investment firm that they do invest in these startup companies, specifically in tech. These guys are brilliant. They know so much more about tech the business than I'll ever know in my life. These guys are brilliant. They're fabulously wealthy. The 2 guys are both billionaires. Fabulously wealthy. They know way more about tech than I'm ever going to know in my whole life. All right? And they would tell you, within 2 years of making an investment, about 35% of those investments are worth 0. They're worth 0. These guys could call anybody they want to talk to. They could call a governor. They could call any famous tech CEO. They'd be happy to get on the phone and talk with these people. So they have so much more knowledge than you or I, so much more access to information from the other smartest people in the world in that space. All right? They know legal things, they know business things. These guys are very well-rounded, and that's why they're so fucking rich. All right? And, more than in a short period of time, 35% of their companies are going to go to 0. And on a long period of time, much more than that is going to go to 0. And they're just hoping they nail a few things right over a long time horizon. So that's not a short-term investment. That's a very long-term investment. Most of those investments are going to be worth exactly nothing. And if you're very smart and very lucky, you might have a couple wins in there. You might have a big win in your life. Now, the good news is you only need one. The good news is you only need one. You can make a lot of money with one big win. All right. So, and the great thing about entrepreneurship is you could fuck up dozens of times. You could fuck up hundreds of times. And so long as the order of magnitude of your successes outweighs the order of magnitude of your failures, you can still be very wealthy. You might be filthy fucking rich. So, this is not a game of perfection. It's not going to be perfect. It's not, most businesses go bankrupt. Most, nearly all over a long time horizon. So it's not a failed business. If you built something and sold it for a few $100 million or a couple $1 billion and it fails later, are you a failure later? Because the technology market shifted and there was something different going on at that time? Or if you built something and made a lot of money for a period of time and then that went out of favor, are you a failure then? But no, you're just an entrepreneur. That you made a lot of money for a period of time. Some of those are sustainable. Some brands are around for a very long time. But even things like Apple, how much volatility did Apple have for its first couple decades? All right, so biggest company in the world right now, a couple $1 trillion. How much volatility did they have for forever? So even the biggest company in the world, you're going to have ups and downs, man. It's not just I'll just invest in this fucking magical tech thing and it's going to work out great. It's easier to be a Hollywood celebrity than a fucking tech billionaire. There's more. It is. It's easier to be an A-list celebrity. The probability of one or the other. It's easier to be an A-list celebrity than a tech billionaire. Those are the numbers. That's a fact. So if you're telling yourself a fantasy story, I'm not saying that you are, by the way. That's not what you said here. But I'm just clarifying that for the type of person who says, I'm just going to invest in some tech shit, then I'm going to be fabulously wealthy. It's like, well, no, probably that investment's going to go to zero. And just bear in mind, and I'm not telling you not to do it, but it better be something that you understand extremely well, and it better be something that where you're contributing to the business, because the best businesses won't even take your money. If you don't have some other value add, if you don't have some other social value add or specific knowledge, etc., the best tech companies won't even take your money. They don't want the money. They're willing to take the money from strategic partners that can help advance their cause significantly. The better businesses will not take money from just some person. They won't take it. They don't want it. So you have to have some strategic value add, or they're not even thinking about you. All right. So your buddy's business that he started out of nowhere it's not worth anything, and it's probably not going to be worth anything. And it's easier to be an A-list Hollywood celebrity. Easier to be a starting player on an American sports team. Easier to do that than to be a tech billionaire. Much easier. Much easier to be a professional sports player. Much easier to be an A-list celebrity. So that's what the numbers are, But the people that make it, they really make it. They really make it. I know some personally. I have a lot of respect for some of the things that they built. But that's not a get rich quick. It's a lot of knowledge in right place, right time, right idea, right team. A lot of things got to go your way for that to work out right. So just bear that in mind. Bear that in mind. And again, it's back to knowledge and peer group. You're going to have to know things that other people don't know, be willing to do things that other people won't do, and you're going to have a very high quality team around you because you can't do it by yourself. You guys know anybody that made $1 billion, didn't have anybody, they just built Apple or Facebook or some shit with no team? Just magically, they did all the shit themselves and magically got $1 billion. This doesn't exist, These companies don't have hundreds of employees or thousands of employees. The big companies have tens of thousands of employees. Tens of thousands. You guys have any idea what the biggest ones have? What are the biggest tech companies? How many employees they have?
Facebook has 50,000.
50,000. 54,000. So, you guys have any idea about Apple? How many employees they'd have? I don't know.
Like retail?
Yeah, that's part of the business. Yeah. So throughout the business, I would imagine it's similar numbers. I don't know much about it. I would imagine it's similar numbers. Moneyberg Mentoring is a general business course of how to think and what are the fundamentals of business. This is a program about helping you make better decisions. I'm trying to give you some frameworks for how I'm thinking about things and how it's allowed me to go make more money. Just to say again, it's you're probably going to die sooner than you'd like. So how much time do you want to spend with the wrong people? This is not a get rich quick scheme. This is a get rich. Anything that I included as a homework assignment is something that's going to benefit your life long term. Derek, what's the one big thing? The one big thing is that you showed up here. I'm just saying, hey man, you can do a lot better, and you're going to.